Now with another loss, 4-11 since 2022. 15 now. Most games decided by 8 points or fewer, and 4-11 in those games. It is time for the Denver Sports Football Postgame Show. Cecil Lammey, D-Mac. Oh my God, Broncos got job. Let's do this thing. Have to be kidding me. Why aren't you kidding me? That type of end, D-Mac. I mean,
Cecil.
My God. What did we just watch?
Listen, there's a lot to talk about, but let's just talk about the end. They were, I don't know who that 25 was.
Benjamin St. Just.
Okay. That was way enough contact on Cortland Sutton to throw a flag. Way enough. He's got him by the shoulder, then he's on his back.
He turns his shoulder, and then he climbs on his back.
How in the world don't you call that? I listen, I mean, that was a crazy finish. And granted, they got lucky. Any kind of Hail Mary score is always absurdly lucky the way the ball has to bounce.
Right, especially because Adam Troutman wanted to catch it, and it just bounced off his hands into Brandon Johnson.
Yeah,
we were watching behind the scenes and just lost our minds.
There's no plan on that aside from just getting it down the field. And to their credit, they did. Man, I'm ticked off here. That's ridiculous what just happened there.
Yeah, and Broncos getting jobbed. And yes, we're going to get to the offensive line woes. We're going to get to Russell Wilson. We're going to get to the defense stinking up the joint, absolutely stinking up at the joint. After our first half, up until the 2-minute mark in the second quarter, everything was rolling. I don't know about you, D, but I was feeling great, man. Jaleel McLaughlin, Marvin Mims making plays, Brandon Johnson with the score. I was loving life, and then Russell Wilson fumbled.
Yeah, and that led 2 points for them and gave them life. Then they got the 2-point conversion, which I was like, you don't really need to go for that now, I guess, but okay. And then they got that on review, and then Cecil, it was like, wow, there it is. And for whatever reason, it's like you just can't have nice things in this house. You know, it's and almost in every game, there's moments where you really feel the momentum of things going on. And it was just evaporated for the most part in the second half. But Cecil, I mean, shoot, man. I mean, they did score on a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
I mean, Cortland Sutton was interfered with in the end zone. I mean, it doesn't guarantee a win. Obviously, that would have only tied the game. So, I mean, who knows what would have happened? Man, I'm feeling kind of, at the beginning, I really thought, Cecil, the Broncos were 4-9 in one-score games last year. That means there were 4 games where they either won by more than 9 points or lost. They won 1 and then they lost 3. And after that first half season, I was just like, oh, okay, this is going to be one of these games.
Right.
I was looking at like the Bills game, Bills Raiders, and I was like, oh, this is going to be 38-13, something like that. The offense looks great. Great way to, like you said, mix in Jaleel McLaughlin. It's just like great plan. Russ is they're throwing the ball down the field, which we said, hey, you got to go for it. Andrew Mason talked about points per possession analytically, how last week really wasn't that bad. If they got more possessions, got more possessions and they put up 20. Well, no, not 20. Well, not 27. What am I? 33, right? 33 points on what? 13 possessions, something like that.
You're scoring points. You're moving the ball. The kids are showing up. Like, it was rolling.
The Broncos just scored 33 points at home and lost. That's just hitting me right now.
That's crazy.
They just scored 33 points and lost to a quarterback getting his first start on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Wow.
I would not want to be Vance Joseph. Would not want to be Vance Joseph whatsoever. The defensive struggles of this team and the lack of defensive talent. And again, not to be that guy, but Delarian Turner-Yell is a nice special teams player. That's it. You don't want him out there playing. He was so out of position. Essang Bassey, when he was playing safety, was completely out of position. Kareem Jackson, what are you doing? Like, seriously, what are you doing? If you're the Broncos, do you have a plan to win? Because this is not the plan to win, and you don't have the depth. You do not. You get a couple injuries, you get a guy kicked out, and all of a sudden you stink on the back end. And Sam Howell, give him credit, especially with the 30 passes in the first half. He was not afraid of Pat Surtain. And he certainly, Damari Mathis, that's just he's a target every week, right? I mean, everyone's going to go after Damari every single week and have success.
I guess the season's over. I mean, the Broncos enter some weird territory. They are now 0 for 2 in one-score games, as they were 4 of 9 last year. We asked the whole year, it's going to come down to one-score games. How are you going to win them? They've lost 2 now. The teams, there's one team in NFL history, one, who went 0-2 to start the season at home and made the playoffs. One. It's happened once. So I guess, it's not impossible. I mean, in basketball, literally in the no team has ever been down 3-0 and actually came back and won a series.
Right.
So one time.
Was that the Joe Burrow team? Is that right? Joe Burrow?
I'm not sure. I forget exactly what that team was. I'm sure we have.
I believe the Bengals started 0-2, and then Joey Burrow, when you have that guy, can lift you that way. But that's not this team.
Well, the Broncos are 0-2. The Bengals are 0-2. The Chargers are 0-2. But the difference is losing 2 games at home. I mean, these are the first 2 games at home, Cecil. I mean, inevitably, you're going to get blitzed by the Dolphins. I don't know how. I mean, if you couldn't stop the Commanders, I'm laughing now. If you can't stop the Commanders at home, what exactly are you supposed to do against what might be the most explosive offense in the NFL on the road?
Right.
They got the Bears, and the Bears they haven't figured that out. So.
They're a dumpster fire, especially defensively. So, okay, now you're 1-3. Does anyone feel good about 1-3? I don't care how close or points per drive. None of that crap matters because it's a results-based business, and the results for this team have been terrible.
God, that was. I'm actually still kind of fired up about the end of the game there, because most they're down by as soon as the Commanders scored that touchdown to give them 35. I was like, oh my God, well that's a wrap. But the Broncos showed a certain amount of heart driving the ball down a couple times. All the problems that we suspected kind of reared their ugly heads. Russell Wilson got sacked, I think 6 times. He had loads of pressure. The pick wasn't his fault. I guarantee you that was on Sutton for running the wrong route. I'd be stunned if that was on Russell Wilson if they go back and watch the film. The fumble, I mean, I don't know. Fumbles do happen. Got to be careful with the ball. But turnovers happen. I don't expect teams to have 0 turnovers.
You're not going to be perfect out there. I would just advise this with Russ on that fumble because it started with his fumble. Everything was rolling, and then Russ fumbles. You're not that runner anymore, dude. If it's wide open and the defense got their back turned, yes, you can take off to run. If it's a designed run, we got some RPO stuff, yes, that can work. But when you're trying to extend the play, he just can't, D-Mac. Not like he used to.
I got it, but it's a weird bridge to cross, right? When do you do it and when don't you do it? Knowing that you have to do it sometimes. In the beginning, that designed run, on the first drive was awesome.
Yeah.
It was great.
Set it up.
The whole first half, you're right. I guess you're right. The whole first half up until the fumble, good point, was actually pretty good. And then it gave them a little bit of life, a lot of life, actually. Tons of life. But Cecil, again, you're winning at halftime, 21-14. They're kicking you the ball, Cecil. So I got it. You don't have as big a lead as you hope to have or you did have, but you still had a lead at halftime at home for the second game in a row. And, they did score 12 points, but they got 6 there at the very end. That feels weird to sort of say what's what, but I mean, for the vast majority of the game, it was 3 points, and then they got some action going late in the game. You can't just have these kind of ridiculous empty possessions. You can't just give things away. This team, sees this team just doesn't know how to win. They just don't have enough players on the team that literally know how to win. There's just too many core guys here who have just not done this before. It's a different coaching staff. It's a different players. It's a different everything. And it's like the same crap. It's like the same stuff. It is like they're cursed.
Yeah, it is. And it's something that I can't believe we're here. 0-2 start with Sean Payton. Feeling good about this team. The pass rush got sacks today. They got pressure. Howell will allow you that because he holds on to the ball forever. But like, you had it set up. You started featuring the young guys. Like, things were starting to click after week 1 and a close loss and all that. Now you're using the rookies. Even Drew Sanders was blitzing, something that we had talked about during the week. Why aren't they using Sanders? Why aren't they using Marvin Mims? Why aren't they using Jaleel McLaughlin? Why aren't they going deep? They started doing those things. Those things worked. And then they come out after the fumble and went fumble, punt, INT.
Right.
That's your game. That's ball game.
Well, you're right, but then it wasn't ball game. And then they get they were smart to just kick the field goal. I've seen other teams do stupid things in those situations. We've seen it. But they were smart. The onside kick didn't work, but then they had a shutdown defense, which they didn't get last week. I mean, Cease, like, golly, man, we are they're a Jekyll and Hyde team in the middle of the game.
Right. Not even week to week. If it was week to week, you'd take that because you'd be getting some W's. And I don't even care if the Hail Mary and then 2 point and then win in overtime. Like, I don't even care. That would have been a win. And yes, the refs screwed them. And yes, there were face masks on Javonte they didn't call. I think there might have been another face mask on Russ, didn't call, and then they don't call that one on court. So I'm not going to blame it on the refs, but the refs are awful and the Broncos collapsed. It's not a good combination.
Okay. Wow. Deep breaths, everybody. This is tough. Because what is the rest of the year about at this point? I mean, I hate to be such a Debbie Downer here so early in the season.
But you're 0-2, and your chances of going to the postseason are almost none. And here's what at least we get, D-Mac, and I can't believe we're 12 minutes into the show in week 2, and I'm saying this. At least it's not going to work with Russ.
Wow, you think so, huh?
What can you do to make this work?
Well,
Sean Payton did those things. The offense did look better. He was very efficient as a passer, but like, you're losing to the Raiders and Commanders again, results-based business. It's just, I think you're just spinning your wheels if you continue this Russell Wilson path. That's what you're doing.
Let me give you a question then on that. With 17 games, 8, 10. Okay, what if they go 8-7 the rest of the way, right? Yeah, that makes sense. 8-7 the rest of the way. Obviously, you don't make the playoffs, but you do have a winning record the rest of the way. And there would be more road games than home games. And you do use this season as a developmental, can this thing work with Russ sort of season. I know that's incredibly frustrating because that's what last year was supposed to be. Actually, That's not what last year was supposed to be, a run for the Super Bowl, I guess, but of course things were so bad last year. I mean, what exactly were we expecting? Cease, were we really anticipating that dramatic of a turnaround?
So you're saying 8-7 the rest of the way. I'm just going to counter you with one thing, and we'll have to look it up. And please, we're emotional, so anyone in the chat room wants to look it up, whatever. When is the trade deadline?
I do know when that is. It's right at the bye week.
Okay, yeah. So at the bye, what's your record? I don't even care. The full season record does not matter. You have to turn this around before the bye, or you're selling everybody. And when I say everybody, people, I mean everybody. Your favorite, you've got their jerseys. They're not going to be here. Okay, that's what we're looking at. You have to look at the record before the bye. What is that? That'll tell you what this team should do.
I think I know the schedule. I'm kind of there.
Miami, Chicago.
All right, you got Miami loss, let's just give ourselves a win in Chicago. So you're 1-3.
Jets.
And then the Jets
win.
Okay, so now you're 2-3.
Although that defense is tough. The defense is still tough for the Jets.
Then 2-3. Then you've got the short week to Kansas City on the road. Loss.
That's an L.
What's the game in between the Kansas City games? Do you know off the top of your head, like in between? What are you eating, Cecil? What are you getting a snack there?
I ate before the show. I got to eat on time, baby. Let me finish. So, I ate before the show, and I'm just kind of picking my teeth. I apologize. I'm looking at the Broncos schedule right now. This is just depressing. It's week 2. We're talking about tanking. We're talking about the draft.
Who's in between the Kansas City games? Is it?
You've got Jets, Kansas City, Packers, and Chiefs.
Packers. All right. So
you got 3 wins,
right?
Yeah. So you've got 3 wins at the bye.
I think you're probably 3-5 at the break, Cease.
Okay.
Probably. I mean, if knock on wood, 3-5 at the break with the Bills in Buffalo after the break. Fun.
There's an L. Minnesota L. Cleveland maybe. Their defense is tough. Houston win. Chargers L. Detroit L. New England L. Chargers L. Vegas, well, hell, L. So, yeah, will you win 1 game after the bye? Like, seriously, that's what we're looking at. The bye week is what we need to look at.
The Chargers, did you see how the Chargers chargered today? I mean, they can win the game. They're at the 7-yard line. It's like 2nd, 3rd down. They get sat. They're the Chargers charger. You'll win one of those Charger games. Raiders at home, they got boat raced by the actually, no, wait, what am I talking about? Chargers are on the road. Yeah, well, you're probably at best you're probably 3-5 at the break. So what are you suggesting in terms of the trade deadline?
Sell everybody. Sell.
All right, so
you just said it. You started this show with they don't know how to win. That's right. They don't know how to win. Get rid of them. I'm sorry. Well, they're your favorites. They're great in the locker room. I'm sorry. This is a results-based business, and if they're not winning and they don't know how to win, send them somewhere where they can win and get. So
you would deal specifically probably Bowles and Simmons then.
Oh yeah. I'm even talking Surtain. If you can get enough.
Whoa.
What? Whoa. You want picks? You want Caleb Williams or not?
Cecil, I feel like I'm
Caleb Williams or Pat Surtain. What do you want?
Cecil, you're barking up the right tree. I mean, what? Okay, this is exactly what I said last year that I was excoriated for in terms of Surtain, and it wasn't an insult to Surtain. I was like, where are we going to get 1st-round picks from? Where are we going to get it? And we have seen now with Patrick Surtain, Cecil, there's a reason why cornerback is like the 5th most valuable position on the field in today's NFL. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have good corners or it's not important. I'm not saying that. But look what happens when a team gets a lead on the Broncos. They just run the ball, dude. I mean, what's the corner supposed to do? And he doesn't take away, Cecil, half the field. He takes away whatever small corner they run to. It opens up like 97% of the field. If you're just running out with their best player and Surtain's got him covered, dude, there's a lot of field left. It's not as impactful. I mean, if you really have to have 2 high-quality shutdown corners, these, and who can even find that? The answer is nobody, which is why NFL defenses play a lot of zone and they stay away from man.
That's the Vic Fangio thing. That's your shell coverage. And they could have had 2 shutdown corners, but George Payton wanted Delarian Turner-Yell. Delarian Turner-Yell, that's the guy. You wanted a safety that's a special teams guy and can't play, and you didn't take Tariq Woolen. You would have had Deion Sanders' 2 favorite. And after Saturday night,
wait, I gotta get my bingo
garbage.
I gotta get my tree. Where's my bingo?
Well, I'm just saying, after Saturday night and the excitement and the just heart strains of last night's game, and then to go into this, come on, dude. Come on, Sean Payton. I'm supposed to be better.
Are people freaking out?
Yeah.
People are probably freaking out.
Well, and here's what we're getting to in week 2. It's apathy. Does anybody care about this team? CU's taking over the nation. Deion's on 60 Minutes right now. CU's everybody's favorite. They're everybody's darling. Deion's the greatest. Nobody gives a crap about the Broncos right now. Good job, Broncos. That's what you got.
Oh, my God, Cecil. Well, I mean, it was a beautiful day down there. And there seemed to be a big crowd.
A lot of empty seats.
Yeah. Hey, tough day for Thunder to miss the game. They scored a lot of points. Thunder would have been pretty tired. Maybe it's good that Thunder rested and wasn't participating in today's game.
Something.
This is really, really, really disappointing to, at the end of the day, score 33 points at home against a mid-level team at best. I mean, and if you're tuning in late, I think they got jobbed on a pass interference to Cortland Sutton on the 2-point conversion. Cease, I think you feel the same. I'm stunned. I'm honest to God, Cease. I'm really, really stunned that they're 0-2 starting at home with 2 home games against the Raiders and the Commanders.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Well, and Paul in the chat room earlier said one thing goes wrong and the team falls apart. That tells you they don't know how to win. Because as soon as, and this is where the Dion thing, and I'm a believer in magical thinking. I've talked to Vaughn about this. You talked to Vaughn about, is marijuana still part of your life? I talked to Vaughn about positive thinking. Like, I really believe in the power of positive thinking. But and magical thinking, like Dion, you got to believe, right? Just believe. Once this team, they got the one fumble, Russell Wilson fumble once, Washington scores, and it just like mentally, here we go again. Here we go again. And that's why I'm like, why not replace almost everybody? Unless you're a Sean Payton guy. Tell me the reason why you keep someone that doesn't know how to win, regardless of their Pro Bowls, their all pro, whatever. Like, tell me why. Just tell me why. Can you make an argument for keeping someone if you're 3-5 at the bye and you're going nowhere in 2023?
Here's what confuses me, and I certainly will have to go back and look at it. And maybe you have a better grasp of it, Cecil. And the way I just watch the game to watch the game, and then I go back and you watch it a couple more times. I just try to have fun, watch the ball when we watch the game. But there must have been something defensively that changed dramatically in the second half that allowed the Commanders to have so much success against the Broncos. And I'm not exactly sure what it was. The Broncos did have 4 sacks, and I thought they were going to have 10 sacks the way they were going. So you got to give Eric Bieniemy some damn credit for figuring something out. I mean, things were going south, and they turned it around. So I'm going to guess, they made adjustments. I'm going to guess they just figured out how to get the ball out of Sam Howell's hand a little bit faster. Again,
well, they started running because, remember, he had 30 attempts, and then for the game, I think it was 39. So he had 9 attempts in the second half. They just started running.
We did see this in the joint practice against the Rams, didn't we? We saw a team that wasn't as conditioned. They weren't in as good a physical shape as the Rams. And just because we all lived here at altitude, you can still get fat, yo. I mean, there's still ways to not be in as good of shape. So I do wonder, and I don't know who to put that on, but it does feel like the Broncos just sort of run out of gas a little quick.
And isn't that funny considering they're running and lifting to begin the offseason? Sean Payton makes them do gassers after practice. Like, what? None of that makes sense. They're doing gassers. Like, they're actually doing stuff in practice, unlike Nathaniel Hackett. Like, this is just very odd. Like, the math isn't adding up for whatever reason. The Payton thing's not working. Russ isn't working. And it's not, we can't just dump it on, they don't have the talent around Russ. Yeah, they do. They're called Marvin Mims and Jaleel McLaughlin and Javonte. Javonte had a hell of a game.
Yeah.
That's a situation where if you can trust the young guys, I argued with the guys on the War Room because they're like, they're just rookies. I'm like, I don't care. They're the guys that can make plays. If you're thinking Jerry Jeudy is the guy to save your season, what Jeudy have today? Like 2 catches? First game back, I'm going to give him a break. Yeah, I'll give him a break first game back, but he's not a difference maker. Marvin Mims could be that difference maker. You just got to trust it. And you don't have another choice. If you're Sean Payton, it's either lose these type of games or go with the kids, go through some lumps, but maybe get some more wins. They're not going to
listen. I couldn't be clearer. This is not on Russell Wilson today. The pick sucked, the fumble. Okay, whatever. But he did enough to win this game. Sort of. I mean, I guess. I mean, actually, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know, man. It's just not working. Cease, it's just not working. And I don't know where it starts working. And if you re-up, golly, man. I mean, I'm about to propose something. I can't even believe it because I can't believe they're 0-2. But at what point do you just go to Stidham and just try to shake this whole thing up?
I don't think that gets you anything. I want Russ out there, you know, the old Bugs Bunny cartoon where like he's just going down, Yosemite Sam. He's going down with the ship, right? This is your thing, Russ. This is
Do you remember the vibe when I think the Broncos were 1-4 with Kyle Orton, and they just said, "Okay, you guys win. The public wins. We're just going to put in Tebow," and they clearly just thought, we're just going to lose and tank it out. And then it was a win in Miami. Actually, that is funny. That did happen. The first win in that whole Tebow Magic stuff was in Miami, and they were down remember that season? They were down 15 with 3.5 to go, and they won the game. Fells caught a big touchdown pass, tight ends.
Yep.
How's that for a little bit of memory lane? And you can't do. I know. I'm spitballing here in terms of how to, change up the karma, but benching Russ, holy cow.
I'll mention something, and I don't want to say this because one, I like him, but you just cut Kareem. These type of moves, 2 games, you're getting thrown out, you're putting your team in a bad position. You want to send a message, you cut Kareem Jackson. I don't want it to happen. I'm not saying it should happen, but if you're looking for a message, it ain't going to Stidham. It's cutting Kareem Jackson.
Pretty tough cutting the captaincies. Pretty tough, but he's going to be. Well, I mean, is he going to be suspended too?
It's 2 games in a row, man. He's going to get a large fine. I know that.
Yeah, his fine last week was $14,000. I mean, double that.
Double it. Yeah.
And I don't know if that penalty and ejection comes with a suspension too. Cut Kareem. Well, we might have some issues there because Kareem's backup got hurt. And I don't know how you feel about JL Skinner. He wasn't even active today. And they had Isang Bassi playing safety. I mean, we're a little thin there.
Yeah. And it was on that last touchdown where Bassi goes up, runs into Benito because he's playing too far inside. Robinson bounces it. And that's just a mistake from And I like Bassi as a slot guy. I'm not against this saying Bassi, but that's just, he's not a safety, everybody.
He's not a safety.
What are you doing?
I mean,
what are you doing? JL Skinner can't get active? Come on.
They could have. They chose, not to. Riley Moss wasn't activated.
He's getting close though. Riley Moss is getting close out there, so maybe.
Okay, I mean,
go with the kids, man. Go with the Sean Payton picks. This is Sean Payton's team. Okay, let's see the young guys then. I want to see more.
I want to see, in particular, JL Skinner. That guy is bigger than Steve Atwater playing safety, which is wild. So if you liked him, I like him. Let's see what's what. But you're in just a really tough spot here, man. I don't know. I know what you're saying about cutting Kareem. I get it. I just don't think they have the depth of that position to do it right now. But I would certainly give some of the younger guys a shot, Cecil, and see where it goes. And I don't know if I'd cut them just because of other depth issues, but I wouldn't be against, starting somebody else and, figuring it out. I mean, maybe that's time. But again, this is really tricky because Kareem is he's a very vocal guy. He's a leader.
Guys love him.
Guys love him. Girls adore him. I mean, even the ones, so I don't know. That's an interesting thought. I mean, we're going to have a lot of interesting thoughts for the rest of the year here. This was a devastating loss for them today.
I don't want to start looking at the draft in September, and I'm Mr. Draft, but I'll tell you this, D, and just keep this in your mental Rolodex.
Yeah.
It is a great tackle class next year. Maybe 6 in the first round. It is a great, and that's an early swipe for me, but it's a great tackle class. So what stinks, if it doesn't work with Russ, you got to get rid of Bulls. You can get a tackle. You can get a great tackle, and you don't need the number 1 pick or number 2 pick. But now you got to get a quarterback. So that's
then Cecil.
These problems are merging at the same time.
Cecil, you have to trade. Sorry about that. Am I good? Am I back?
You're good. Did you get a phone call?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. You have to trade Pat Surtain. That's what you said.
Well, I mean, what choices do you have? I mean,
don't.
If you want a quarterback or a tackle and you need capital, I don't know. And then we're talking about, and now we know who we're kind of talking about, right? We're talking about Caleb and May. I think Shedeur is going to come back. I do. Although I think he could easily be a top 10 pick. Easily.
He could be number 1 the next year, though.
That's right.
That's
right.
He could be number 1. And I mean, top 10 is great, but number 1.
Yeah, and you're talking about a guy who money is like. Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice in life?
Didn't he get an NIL deal with the car company that I can't even pronounce their name? I mean, like.
Oh my God! Can you imagine the cash that Shedeur Sanders is going to make this year and next? He's already in like Kentucky Fried Chicken commercials with his pops. He's gonna have Shedeur Sanders is one of the biggest football celebrities in the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and another phone call for DMAC there. So, yeah, they've got some options. They've got some issues, and if you're the Denver Broncos, like that's the thing. Like Brad D says here, just burn it down. Start with drafting. I mean, it's kind of come to that, right? And it's week 2. I flipping hate this. I really want to yell and get emotional. And I know people love seeing that when I go on these rants, which is fine. I appreciate you all. But I don't know for my mental health if I can just yell about this team enough. Like, I don't want to talk about tanking. But damn it, that seems to be the road this thing is on. Like, I can't fast forward this thing and like it's going to get better. So much better that you would want to keep the main pieces around and continue building for the future. Like, no, it's probably not going to get better. And you'll see Kansas City put it together, and you'll see Buffalo put it together, and who knows about Cincinnati, but like, you're bringing up the rear, DMAC.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. Yeah, man, it's sobering, dude. It is sobering. Not many folks had the Broncos 0-2 at this point. I don't know anybody who had the Broncos 0-2 at this point. This is rough. And, it's rough, too, because, like, if they were going to be 0-2, would it be clearly that Russell Wilson is done, that it's over? And if you watch Russell Wilson right now, it's not clear that he's done.
No.
There was
you can still win with him. You just need more.
Yeah. I mean, the really, really disappointing effort by the defense today. Really disappointing effort.
So you want to send a message. We're not going to cut Kareem. We went over that. What about Damari Mathis?
Oh, my gosh.
You want to send a message? You cut your starter. Like, he's the kids.
Again, but
it's not good. It's not good. Like,
I get it, but
we're going to keep trotting him out there, and the quarterback's going to go 27. It's like Waterboy's kicker, right? He's like, oh, there he is. Like, I know where I'm going. Like, it's easy math, and you can't make football easy math. You can't declare that way, and it's so easy. Just find 27 and go burn him.
Well, where's
Riley Moss is close. Riley Moss is really close.
Yeah, but
I would rather start Riley Moss, and he's really who's missed all this time. Like, I would rather do that because it's not working with Mathis. I don't care how nice he is or how short of a memory he's got, or in college he took care of Jahan Dotson. It ain't college, baby. Like, come on. It's, again, I've said it 4 times now, results-based business. Damari Mathis is not good as a starter. Sorry. I wish it was different. But
they're going to have
like it is or put our head in the sand.
They're going to have their hands full next week in Miami, no doubt about it.
Get the Pepto ready. Oh my God. Let me finish. I'm not even touching my plate on that one. I don't think I'll eat. I will get physically ill watching the Broncos.
But see, that's just the weird nature of the NFL, because nobody would have ever said, oh, well, you got to win the game in Miami. Everybody was like, all right, that's, whatever. You're going to lose that one. And then you say, well, you bounce back. You got Chicago, then you got the Jets, and you got to win 1 of 2 in your first 2 weeks. And, okay, we'll be all right. We'll be 3-2 or something like that. At the worst, 2-3. And, you're staring down the barrel of starting 0-3. And then, you just got to hope Chicago continues to death spiral as they're doing now. They just can't. I'm surprised they can't figure it out. And Baker Mayfield's looking like a superstar. Yeah. Baker Mayfield is looking like a superstar.
And look at what they're doing with Desmond Ridder. And I'll stick up for Russell Wilson and be like, at this point in his career, Russell Wilson is better than a young Desmond Ridder. And Atlanta's rolling because they run the ball. They figure it out. And I'll bring up Dave's point here. He said Sean showed zero emotion. I think Sean Payton is like super pissed, like super ready to erupt, and that's not good. If anyone asks him the wrong question at the podium, like watch out. Or if someone says something wrong in the locker room, watch out. Like Sean Payton, to me, I think he's one of those, like, I don't know about your pops, because we know Pops McKee, right? He always keeps it real. But I know with my dad, when he was yelling, I would be scared, but I'd be like, that's dad. He's losing his mind. When dad was quiet, I was like, oh God, I'm in the worst trouble ever. It happened when my daughter wrecked her car and I drove her back to our house and I didn't say anything. And she's like, that's the most scared I've ever been, because I wasn't saying anything, because I was so mad I just couldn't say anything. And I think Sean is at that point where, he's showing zero emotion, because if he did, he'd blow his top.
Yeah, but see, here's the problem. He probably doesn't have enough of his guys around him right now. It's not the way he probably will theoretically in a year. And it does, like, here's what Prime just did. Here's what Coach Prime did. He just got rid of everybody. I mean, he literally just got rid of everybody.
Yeah, and took heat for it. Why is he getting rid of all these poor kids? Like, sorry, you're not good.
And the coaches he brought in are loyal to him to the core. But you know what he also did is that, it was a mantra over and over and over and over again.
We coming.
What exactly is the mantra of Sean Payton and the Broncos? We're here?
Don't talk to Jarrett Bell?
Yeah, kind of. Cecil, you're joking, but it's a little odd. The mantra is kind of do as I say, not as I do right now. And perhaps that's okay. Perhaps that's a way to make it work. But it's, who is rallying behind Sean Payton right now? And I don't know. Who's
believing? Go back to the Dion thing. Who's believing? Those kids believe in Dion. Travis Hunter, no Travis Hunter. Dirty play, yes. Guess what? Those guys all believe. Double overtime, they believe. TCU, they believe. All this national attention, every celebrity under the sun around him, they believe. Who believes in that locker room?
You know what I love? One of the most endearing traits about Von Miller, and you saw it on the sidelines with the Bills against the Jets. He was still like encouraging his guys. Let's go. And Von has a podcast. Have you watched the Voncast?
Yes, I have.
The Voncast is pretty cool, because everything with Von is like, oh man, it didn't work out, but it's going to. We're going to be better. I watched the one with Diggs, and he got into Diggs' relationship with Josh Allen. They kind of hashed it out. It was like, but it was even though they had come off a tough loss against the Jets, it was all like kind of really positive. Vaughn, bless his heart, man, even when things were super low, like the second season with BJ as a head coach, that was ugly stuff. Vaughn would still come up there, and I think he was always genuine in his belief in who they were and what they were about to do. It wasn't phony. Like, he really felt like that, and he tried to encourage guys, and he wasn't like a kick you in the butt guy. He was just a much more positive sort of dude like that. Well, you got to back that up with great play too, and that's what he did. So who is that guy for the Denver Broncos on offense or defense? I think Russell Wilson is a good leader, really good leader. He's very positive. You believe in that positive energy. That's what Russell Wilson's all about. I think they're playing to the best of their abilities. They did put up 33 points today. Okay.
That's double what they normally put up.
Yeah, man. And they got robbed on the 2-point conversion. Should have been interference. It's confounding, Cecil. It actually is really confounding. If you just told me that they were going to play like they did today, here's the tricky part, Cecil. We can't believe in anything in the first half. Nothing. We can't take anything for the first half to mean, Cecil, anything. It means nothing. So if it's all exciting, it's all positive, okay, cool. This team has a second half sort of problem, and that's a tricky one to sort of come to terms with. I'd rather you just struggle in the first half and then you figure out.
Right, halftime adjustments.
Yeah.
What is hornswoggle?
Hornswoggle is like you would rip somebody off. You would hornswoggle somebody. You would promise them one thing, and you'd sell somebody a lemon. Basically.
Okay. I'm going to cry like the rest of Broncos country. Worst team in the AFC West. Junior Gomez says, come on, Junior. Fellow Chicano, you're going to call me Hornswoggle? Come on, man.
They called you... Hornswoggle is a verb more than a noun.
I don't know. I just got verbed. I just got swaggled. Swagglehoss?
You could be hornswoggled about how good Sean Payton was going to be as a coach. We got hornswoggled, but that's a verb, not like you are a hornswoggle. That's not a thing.
Yeah. Russ fumble. A lot of people in the chat room are talking about Russ didn't try to go after his own fumble. He thought he was down. He wasn't down. He wasn't down.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. There's. Oh my God! You still had the lead, Cecil. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. It sucked. You still had the lead. Okay. The onside kick in game 1 stunk. You still had the lead at halftime. It's not about mistakes and little things. You got the lead at halftime. You can go win a football game. Okay. It's not great. But to sit around and just say, well, if we made, the first play of the game or this in the first half. So what's the magic score? You're winning what, Cecil? 21-9 instead of 21. What's the magic number that that a team can't come back from against the Broncos? What is it?
Right. Wow.
30?
30, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not 18. You know that.
No. But yet again, boy, we get some interesting chats. Tony says he could beat D-Mac in a wrestling match.
Yes, okay. A lot of people can beat me in a wrestling match.
People are asking about your blazer too. They're like, "Are you going to dinner?"
We got a good look here, Cease. Okay. We want to,
Oh, I forgot about it. I shouldn't have worn my Knicks sweatshirt. I'm surprised people haven't jumped on me about that. Like, yeah, I'll put on a nice sport coat. Anyway,
you like it?
I like it. It looks good with the Superbook polo underneath.
Yep, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Tear it down and rebuild. Like, yeah, there's
tear it down and rebuild. Does everybody understand a tear it down and I don't know if they understand what that actually means. So if you tear down and rebuild, you're talking about a 3-year project, dude. 3-year project. The Broncos will, if they miss the playoffs this year, Cease, will be 8 years in a row. Okay. It will be theoretically, if you don't have a 500 record, it'll be 7 straight years with under a 500 record. Tear down and rebuild. Okay, that is a 3-year project. And who did Sean Payton draft and develop at a quarterback? Give me the guy. Who was it?
Nobody.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Nobody. Because that's not what he does. That's not his thing. He's better with reclamation projects like Jameis Winston and Drew Brees. That's who he's good with. What indicates to you that Sean Payton is the right guy to get that young quarterback, even if it was Caleb Williams, and develop him from there?
Right.
So this is it, though. It's high risk, high reward. It's all that value for Russell Wilson. It's all that value and money for Sean Payton. See, this is it. I mean, if you want to, I hope people understand when you say rebuild, you mean to move on from Sean Payton. I mean, who's looking to do that? But Sean Payton wasn't brought here, Cecil, with Russell Wilson to rebuild. He was brought here to fix and win now, right now, not next year, not 3 years from now. If you're rebuilding, you got to really rebuild. And I don't think they sunk all that money into everything to do that. So, no, man, you gotta figure this out, man. You gotta figure this out.
This is depressing.
Well, I hope people realize you got to figure this out or you got to trade Patrick Surtain. Okay? So you figure this out now or trade Surtain. Who wants to do that? That'll be the most unpopular take in the world, but that's the truth, Ruth.
And what do you do, D? What do we do on the show?
Tell the truth, hey! I get it.
You kill him with truth. I'm talking about you, baby. You kill him with truth. Like,
truth is what we have.
Sorry. I feel like I should apologize to Broncos fans. Like, I'm sorry this sucks. I'm sorry it hasn't worked. I'm sorry it should have looked better. And because I get excited about Sean Payton. I get excited about him fixing Russell Wilson. Like, and this stinks.
Yeah, man, should have been a blowout today. You got a big lead. That's, the turnover sucked with Russell Wilson. You're right about that. You put more points on the board there. If it's 24-3, at least 24-3. Never mind 28-3. If it's 28-3, the game's over. Nope, nobody Cecil comes back down 25 points, except in the Super Bowl.
Right.
But
is that a wrap, D? Are we done? This is very saddening. Very sad and maddening.
All right. Let's be power positive thinking, Cecil.
Okay.
Positive thinking.
We're waiting. I'm glad the young guys got some playing time. I'm glad that we got to see more from Nick Benito and Brandon Johnson. I'm glad that we got to see more of Marvin Mims, who looks like a budding star. I'm glad Jaleel McLaughlin got in the end zone. I'm glad that Drew Sanders was being used on a blitz because that's what they were going to do with him anyway. Like, I'm glad the young players are playing because they're going to be the guys that if you want to turn it around faster than 3 years, Drew Sanders has to hit. Jaleel McLaughlin has to hit. Marvin Mims has to hit. Nick Benito has to hit. Like all these young players, Brandon Johnson has to hit. If you want to turn around faster than 3 years, does anyone have the stomach for 3 more years of this crap? I don't.
It's
Go with the young guys.
See, you were starting very positive there, Cecil, and then you
what? I finished positive.
You
started with the young guys.
Cliff. You're
hey everybody.
It was like that Price is Right game, cliffhanger or whatever.
Yeah, the yodeler. Boom.
Young guys.
Boo. Off there.
All right, I'll stay positive and say, hey, listen, Russell Wilson is definitely playing better. That was a very important thing. And hopefully a chemistry between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson clicks at some point. It's more troubling about the defense today than the offense, actually, although the offense certainly didn't have a great second half. It was buoyed by a miracle play at the end. And then, karma only gets you so far, and they were jobbed. Just maybe a last thought here. Boy, talk about just putting in perspective how amazing Shadur Sanders was. Down by 8 points with 2 minutes to go to drive his team 98 yards and then convert on a 2-point conversion, get 2 touchdowns in overtime with another 2-point conversion. There's a clutch gene in that kid that is pretty damn special. And I think Russell Wilson has certainly had his moments. I think they got ripped off today. I don't know if they would have scored a 2-point conversion after a penalty. We'll see. They would have had a better shot. I guess the ball would have been at the 1-yard line, not the 2. I don't know. I would have liked to see it play itself out. And then let's see what happens in overtime. Also, our kicker was fine today. That didn't cost the Broncos anything. That was no big deal. And it was a sunny day.
There you go.
As good as I can do.
Well, I'm as disappointed as I was in Tremont Smith in week 1 on that special teams play. I was so disappointed in Fabian Moreau.
Yeah.
On his penalty. I was like, dude, you get a big defensive stop.
Yeah.
And then you're grabbing, I believe it was on Curtis Samuel. He was grabbing.
Yeah.
And it was like, you're a veteran. You've played 100 years. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Little ticky-tack stuff. You got to know better.
Okay. So Lewis says, hey, you guys with the doomsday talk, this team will be fine. Is anyone happy with fine? Is anyone happy with 6 wins? 7 wins? Is anyone happy with that?
Yeah, I mean, when did we sign up for the development of Russell Wilson at age 35?
Right.
Like, I hope this kid can work out. All right, buddy. Why don't we just calm down?
All right.
I don't know.
We'll see you all around.
Is that it? Is that just that's it? That's the end? We'll just see everybody around?
Just see you around. I mean, I appreciate everyone, even the people with the nasty comments about us. Like, that's fine. Like, go for it, baby. Like, I got broad shoulders. Like, whatever.
Nasty comments? What are
I know.
What are people upset? I know. They're upset at us?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
I got me on that one. It's a tough start. The numbers are against the Broncos making the playoffs. Hey, man, there's 15 more games. Any given Sunday, you never know. A lot of close games in the NFL. The Broncos were 4-9 in one-score games. They're 0-2 last year. They're 0-2 now this year. I'd say they're going to have another 11 close games, Cecil. You got to come out on the positive side if you want to win some games, obviously, and have a playoff style record. Wild stuff happens. Guys get injured. Weird things happen. Broncos have won in Miami before when their seasons were down and out. So listen, I'm not, totally giving up, but we've got to be honest. We got to be truthful and keep things real. If we don't, what the heck are we doing? Well, why are we doing any of this? And we're just going to, fluff things up and lie? I mean, that feels weird. So it's not that we won't be interested and we won't keep following it. That's what we do. So we'll just keep on keeping on and hope for the best. And, we're probably going to get somewhat of a reality check with the CU Buffaloes against Oregon, too. But it feels weird. I'll give you what feels super weird, Cecil. The Broncos feel like an afterthought to the CU Buffalo football team.
Right. Not to the world champion Denver Nuggets, not to the Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avs. They feel like an afterthought to the CU Buffs. Good job, Dion. I believe. Go beat them Ducks, man.
Go get. Oh, hey, who's to say they can't?
I've paid a bunch of money to Oregon State. I can't have anything to do with the Ducks. So,
geez, my Sun Devils got shut out by Fresno State at home. So
it hurts.
I'm putting that one in the win column for the good old Buffaloes when they go down in the desert here in a couple weeks. But yeah, you got the Ducks. Oregon State, I know how you feel. If you put money there, that's your school, buddy. If you put money there, that's your school all the way. So, but I'm excited for the Buffaloes, and I gotta offer praise to CSU. I think the dirty shots were not great. I don't encourage anybody to hurt anybody, but you had to come out with your hair on fire, and that's what they did. The Broncos, the Broncos could learn a lot from CSU at this point. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, when is losing and being insulted so hurtful to you that you just can't stomach it whatsoever? And I'm not looking for somebody. I mean, Kareem cheap shotted a dude and he was thrown out. That dude, I'm forgetting his name, number 11 there for CSU. He should have been tossed. Right. I have no idea how he stayed in the game. And Kamara was tossed after he tried to kill, Shedeur. And frankly, Shedeur tried to, Three Stooges, Kamara.
Yeah.
Dude, you try to do that, you probably should be tossed for that, to be honest with you. I mean, that is super dangerous, bro. Like, I don't know how you even get away with that one. So, but the one thing that game showed us is, there was fire there between both teams in a football game. And where exactly is that fire with the Denver Broncos? Where is it, Cease? It's just, for whatever reason, it's just not connecting. And without that fire, I don't know how you win football games on any level. I don't. So there you go. Find the fire, baby. It's like Survivor going down to Miami. Find the fire. Don't get voted off the island.
All right. He's D-Mac. I'm Cecil, everyone. Thanks for watching, and stay frosty.